There are many who ask me, how do I manage to keep my kitchen hob so clean all the time? So here are some tips and tricks that I follow during my daily cooking, saving up a lot of cleaning time and cooking time. And I cook in a very healthy way, for which I begin my day after my kids are set to school with a quick shower and get ready. It's a habit to check what is fresh in the refrigerator to plan the lunch for the day. And now that I know what I'm cooking, keeping the required vegetables out and ready at least an hour before cooking saves up a lot of cooking time with the vegetables reaching to the room temperature. And also easy on hands to chop them, especially the lime squeezes in plenty of juice. I also prefer washing the tur dal and soaking in water an hour before cooking. Soaking the dal beforehand helps the dal to be cooked well, adding in taste in the rasam, and also helps in easily digesting the lentils. Now is the time I work for an hour editing my previous work on my computer. After an hour's time, I set to cook lunch. Keeping a muslin cloth to drain and soak the excess water from the strainer. For every vegetable that needs to be cooked, I prefer to steam the vegetables, retaining the nutrient value, the color, and enhancing the taste of every vegetable. Placing the steamer in the pressure cooker with very little water at the bottom and no whistle. I set to steam the tender beans for 10 minutes. In the meantime, I chop onions. Curry leaves can be quite spluttery after a wash in water. So one thing that I bear in mind is to pat them dry onto the muslin cloth to absorb the excess water. I have divided the curry leaves in 3 portions for the cooking. I use the splatter screen to cover the mustard seeds from spluttering and also for the curry leaves. I always have a green chilli paste at home ready with sufficient salt added in it. The spoon that I use goes into the wash straight away after the use. Adding in very little of fresh lime juice into any dish enhances the flavor. Finally, adding in the steamed beans to warm up with the sautéed onions. How beautifully have they retained their color. Freshly grated coconut makes the whole dish complete. You can see the soaked tur dal have been expanded in water. Just a few whistles can guarantee of them being mushed up for sure. No fear of them being hard once cooked. I prefer adding in just a drop or 2 of oil to the dal whilst cooking and 100% assurance of them to be cooked thoroughly. I also gently pull the gasket for it to slightly expand, fitting in correctly to the rim of the lid. Many a times, due to the heat, the gasket contracts, causing the steam to escape. And I also keep the pressure cooker to the rear end on the hob just in case if there is any spillage, I have to clean up just a small area rather than the whole of the island. The rasam that I'm planning to do for the day needs lots of peppercorns. And I love using fresh. I place the mortar on the muslin cloth, keeping the surface of the kitchen countertop secured. And also it's easier to grind the pepper if placed on the cloth by staying stiff. I have my little ghee pot that we use daily. I place this very close to the pressure cooker for the ghee to be melted from the heat passing rather than directly heating the ghee, losing its flavor every time heated. The rasam that I am making for today, we call it limbe hannina saru, which means the saru or the rasam which is made out of fresh lime, which is very strong and sour in taste. I again use the splatter screen to cover the split green chillies. Adding in salt onto the tomatoes helps to be cooked faster. Freshly ground pepper powder, half of fresh lime are the main ingredients of the super tasty saru. You can see the dal is so well cooked. I drain the water and just with the help of a ladle, I mix the dal to be completely mushed. I add in sufficient water, bringing it to a boil. Adding in very little of jaggery to any of your rasam brings it to a whole new dimension. I have always seen my grandma do this. A bowl of water to place the serving spoons and ladle so that they don't dry out. And I continue to do the same at home. I'm making a small portion of masarana, which is curd rice. Aubergine changed the color to brown once cut and exposed in air. So I add in a tablespoon of milk in water, the best way to prevent the aubergine from turning brown. I give a tadka in a wide open kadai, but the splatter screen helps keeping all the mustard seeds in the kadai. I continue using the same kadai to make aubergine chutney. You can see they have not changed the color. Once cooked, I place the aubergine for it to cool down faster on a windowsill next to an open window. In goes all of the things back into the place. Yogurt pot, milk bottle can always be rinsed before placing into the recycle bin. Check the covers meant to be recycled. I have a separate recycle bin and rubbish bin at home. Finishing off by adding in coriander to all the dishes at the last minute, so the flavor and color of the leaves do not diminish. To make the aubergine chutney, I add in coconut, coriander, salt, small clove of garlic, tamarind pulp, and I grind it coarsely. I have always found it difficult to get the curls on my papad, and this is how I do to get this perfect curls, which can never go wrong. I cut the papad into thin long strips. Place it on a tawa. When it's still very soft, I turn it, twist it, and place it back onto the tawa to turn it crispy. I just keep turning it until the whole of the papad is crispy. By the end of all the cooking, this is how my hob looks like. Not messy at all, just a very few splashes which can be easily cleaned. I give a mop, clean and clear. A very simple, satisfying thali is what I made for today's lunch. Heartwarming food that I need to sit down, cherish every granule that I'm blessed to have. Very important to take off the spoon from the pickle jar after the lunch. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching.